did see they're having, I don't know if it was today or tomorrow, but they're doing the first Deadly Class panel.
Yeah, I saw that. Lee Meyer's not going to be there though, and remember, and those guys aren't going to be there for it.
Oh,
So I was
really?
like, yeah, and because I guess they had a cancellation for it. I'm like, well, that's dumb.
Well, I do know, Remender, when I talked, because I reached out to him, C2E2, like way before they had the full like guest list announced. Um, and he said he was doing no cons this year.
Yeah. All right, we are live. So, welcome everybody to another episode of Syndi-Comics Weekly. Wanted to go a little early. We had extra time, so we wanted to go early to kind of help out the guys on the East Coast side. So, thank you guys for coming by. Tattoo Twin Hunter, Dylan, Rincon, Prulio. And sorry if I butcher anybody's name. I'm a redneck. It's kind of hard to say names sometimes to people. So, hey, that's what happens. But there's been a lot of stuff go on this week. Of course, this is SDCC. You know, this is the biggest comic convention on the earth. Um, but I'm actually going to say it's the biggest entertainment convention in the earth because comics are few and far and in between on SDCC. I've been several times to SDCC. I went in 2011, 12, 13, and 14. And every year it kept getting worse and worse and worse. So as you guys know, today a lot of stores had their shared exclusives out there. You know, be it Think Geek, Hot Topic, GameStop, Entertainment Earth. A lot of these guys had a lot of their exclusives up today. So a lot of people were able to get what they wanted. A lot of people couldn't. And me and Kyle were kind of talking about this a little bit before. And the big thing being um, that we have an issue, and the issue is some of us actually work during the day, and so a lot of us can't go all the time, to it. So the big thing is that a lot of us need help, and we need friends, we need support to get what we want, or you try to get it online. I know I wanted the Brawly Pop, and I want the Toy Tokyo Vegeta Pop, um, but I couldn't get it online today. I didn't know who was going out, so didn't know who to ask. But that's kind of the catch-22 is that we're all running into the same issues. Um, Now, with that being said, too, there's a lot of figures out there too. I mean, if you guys have been seeing the posts on the Syndicate, Open Box Mafia, Renegades, you name it, every toy community out there right now, there's pictures galore out there. I don't know how many approval posts, we've been doing on the Syndicate for all the damn pictures for it. So what I would say too, though, is if you've already seen the picture, don't go and try to repost the same picture again. Just look out there. I don't know how many multiple posts we had out there, um, but it is the same thing. A lot of stuff's being shown right now, um, and it's a lot of cool stuff. Mezco's had a lot. Storm, SH Figuarts, Hot Toys. Hot Toys revealed everything early. Just like SH did on preview night yesterday. I mean, there were so many Hot Toys. I know everybody was excited for those. That Shuri looks really good, though. I
Yeah,
saw that picture of Shuri. I was like, damn.
that sculpt looks amazing. So is it wrong of me that like just because you said that I literally want to go and every picture I've seen of a different hot toy just post it on the Syndicate just so you have to approve it? I don't want to do it all in one post. I want to do like 50 individual pictures.
I'll just delete it. It's coming from Kyle. Delete.
Yeah, no, there's some really cool and Siri looks really cool. The only thing that kind of sucks is a lot of those hot toys don't ever get made. I could see Shiri maybe being one that doesn't get made. The Vulture, I would almost put money down. He's not getting made. He's gonna
No.
he's gonna be like Rhino from Amazing Spider-Man 2. He's gonna look amazing, but he's not gonna sell well enough and I'm sure that one's gonna be at least $700-800 because it's gonna be like the Hulkbuster. It's gonna be a huge piece. I think I read somewhere that the wingspan alone is 4 feet. Right. Because I mean, if you watch the movie and look how big those wings are compared to Michael Keaton, like it's going to be an insanely big wing I mean, even look at the Marvel Legend and just how wide the wings are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that one I would be that one is my Hulkbuster. If they make it, that is the one piece I will spend the outrageous amount of money to get it. But I have absolutely no faith that that one's actually getting made. There's some really cool. There's some other really cool ones that I had not seen. The Shiri was probably, I thought, the most, as far as face sculpt and just looking like the actress.
Mm-hmm.
That one looked amazing. But yes, a lot of really cool things out of the Hot Toys camp that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, and the cool part though is that there's been so many of those. I mean, this time, I mean they've actually shown a lot of figures out there. That Vulture, as good as it does look, I agree. It's never going to get made. It's way too big. It's there's no one that really has that kind of room. I mean, you're talking a whole room, and you would have to like anchor it to a
Right.
wall if you wanted to show it with the wings. It's just that's why most of us that have the Marvel Legend, we just have the Marvel Legend, and the wings are sitting in a bag because it's too much, too big. Unless you like hang it from a ceiling or something like that, that'd be one thing, but it's just way too damn big.
But and
A
he's
lot of
not.
people didn't think. A lot of people didn't think Hulkbuster was actually going to get made either.
Well, that
You
what
all right?
4 years in production. I mean, it wasn't like the simple, quick. It's not like most of them that they announce them a year in advance. That one, I think pre-orders were up 2-3 years at least, if not longer. Yeah, and one is different too. Like, because like I think Vulture just isn't a main. He's not Spider-Man. He's not even Iron Man. I don't think Hulkbuster gets made if it wasn't Iron Man, and they literally make every single suit Iron Man has. Like Hot Toys has a love affair with Iron Man, which is cool. But I think if it's with any other character, that one doesn't get made. Like Rhino. Rhino is pretty much the exact same thing as Hulkbuster. That one clearly never saw the light of day, other than C2 or not C2E2, San Diego Comic-Con prototype. Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but the Vulture actually has a stand, if they release it, that actually has arms coming off the base.
Yeah, to support it.
Wing. So, yeah, I hope it comes out. Like I said, that'll be one I will buy for sure, but I'm not holding my breath for that one.
Yeah, and that's the catch-22 is that there's another version of the Hulkbuster coming out too now.
With
I
the arm.
saw. Yeah, with the extra arm, but that is actually the Infinity War version, which is the Hulk version, not the Iron Man version. So,
the one with the arm is the Age of Ultron. They have a power pose one that doesn't have articulation. Yeah. That's the Infinity War. The one with the arm, that's the Age of Ultron. It's basically from looking at the pictures, it looks like it's just a re-release of the Hulkbuster, just with that arm accessory, which is going to piss a lot of people who paid a lot of money for that Hulkbuster off.
They are, especially if it's actually cheap too. If it's $700, $800 retail, while the other one's hitting around $2,000 right now. Yep. On the aftermarket. It's expensive.
Well, and you get the jackhammer arm, so I mean, you actually get an accessory with it, because I don't believe there's any accessories other than obviously the bust of the Mark 46 or whatever is inside of it. That was the only accessory we got.
All right, we got a couple new people in. Hey, Cream City and Jetta Patrol, welcome in, guys.
Well, guys.
So with that being said, though, I mean, there's a lot going on right now. I mean, I know for me personally, I want all the SH Figuarts stuff, because I'm a huge DBZ fan. I'll buy that in a heartbeat. But a big thing that came out was Transformers today and yesterday. There is so much Transformers coming out with the new series for War on Cybertron. The first phase called Siege. They're doing reissues of the G1 figures. So all of us that grew up in the 80s, we're going to be able to go to Walmart and buy all the old box style version of the G1 Transformers. So to me, that is an awesome thing. I can't wait to see that in the store and be 4 years old, 5 years old again, be like, holy crap, Mom, I need it. And I'm going to be like, where's Mom? Oh yeah, it's, but yeah, it's going to be kind of cool to see that in stores. Storm Collectibles, of course, they were killing it, with all the Mortal Kombat figs. and the Tekken and the King of Fighter ones. But a lot of these ones are the same figures we've seen at NYCC and at Toy Fair,
Mm.
for the last year and a half. So when will we get to see it? Who knows? Big Dub and Andrew, welcome in. But I'm waiting to see what shows up because I love the Melina, I love the Cyrax, I love the Sector, the Rain, the Smoke. I love all those figures. Now, the easiest one, of course, to make are the Ninja ones because they've already got the mold, and they've already got it pre-established. But we do know like Goro is coming out in the fall. We know that we're going to see these ones come out. So it's going to be interesting to see what actually shows up in stores. And guys, bear with me. I've been having lots of video issues on Hangouts lately. I mean, literally the last 3 Hangouts I've had, it's been doing the same thing. Holy crap, BJ shows up. Good time.
Yay. What's up, man?
What's up?
Wait.
What'd I miss?
Oh, nothing.
Just talking about SDCC right now. Yeah.
I couldn't get anything.
Don't feel bad. I didn't either. So, with that being said, like I said, there's a lot of figures coming out because of SDCC. So it's going to be interesting over the next year or so to see what happens. We all know Hot Toys and Storm and Mezco and those all have delayed releases. They always do. Same thing. They're going to tell you it's going to be 4 months, 6 months. I mean, half the Mezcos showed spring and winter of 2019. Yep. So you've got time. You're going to, what's going to get a lot of people are the exclusive Mezco ones because like the Punisher, that just came out, a lot of people were not able to purchase that, me included, So shout out to my boy Big Dub. He is helping me with that one. Because that is the catch-22. It's like a lot of them are going to have time for. The ones you will not have time for, of course, is going to be the Hasbro stuff because Hasbro has been showing stuff all day long today. All the new Marvel Legends, all the new Transformers, Black Series they've been showing. They've been going crazy over all that stuff. So, with that being said, let's get to why we're really here, and that's comic books. I read some things today off of CBR that was kind of interesting. Don't know if you guys have seen it. X-Men Black that's going to be coming out with Magneto in it, and pretty much Magneto turns back into a bad guy again after the extermination event, and that's when after X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold end. So you're going to have X-Men Red and X-Men Black. That's all you're going to have. And then let's see, anything else Marvel? Not a lot, but I did see something cool. Grant Morrison is now taking over Green Lantern in the DC Comics. So I might actually have to go read that. I don't mind Grant Morrison. It's one of those things. I like him for certain things. We'll see if he does. I hated him on the X-Men book. I really did. But we'll have to see how he does in these other ones.
Sorry, my wife is like right now, like
I'm mad at you.
She's mad at you.
Yeah, what else is new, right?
What'd you do?
Apparently, she has these like makeup removing cloths, and I was cleaning our bathroom this evening, and I thought it was empty, and apparently there were some still like unused ones in the package, and I threw it away.
See, that's why guys don't mess with makeup.
No. This is like trash to me.
You're gonna pay for that later.
Wrong answer.
I know, right?
All right. So, I was talking about DC and Grant Morrison. So, what do you guys think about Grant Morrison?
I'm not a huge fan. I've read very limited of his stuff, but it's I don't know what I have read. I'm just it's a little bit too out there for me.
How about you, BJ? What do you think?
I'll give it a shot. I'll either go ahead and buy it, or I will let my buddy Josh Howard read it and let me know what he thinks about it. Then I'll probably get it. If not, then I'll just maybe wait till it's on Hoopla.
Yep.
I wish Hoopla actually worked here for that. All right. So, well, as I fight video technical difficulties tonight, so the only other thing I saw this week, which was pretty awesome, was the Aphrodite V that came out. That is, of course, a spinoff from the Cyberforce comics, that came out from Image this year. So definitely excited for that one. But the other one that got everybody by the toes last week was Die, Die, Die. That kind of surprised everybody and their brother, the way the dissemination of it was. Like, my LCS only got 3 copies of it, and as soon as I walked in the same day, I'm like, I want a copy. They're like, it's gone. It was gone in the first 2 minutes that the store opened. I'm like, son of a. So now it's trying to go find a copy of it, and they're jumping up in price like crazy right now.
Yep.
So I'm definitely going to be ready pretty soon for that version to come back out. I can see a second print.
Yeah, I think they pretty much have at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an awesome idea. Like, and they pulled it off perfectly. I mean, no one knew up until the night before it came out when Robert Kirkman tweeted out, "Hey, I have a new comic coming out tomorrow."
By the way,
but I mean, it was a cool idea. I don't know how, like, what if it was a good idea or not.
Somebody's dog.
So, yeah. But going back to kind of San Diego, I wanted to ask you guys if you guys saw this. So, did you guys see that Tom King has to have a hired bodyguard with him the entire show, no matter what?
I did, actually. That we were talking about that yesterday at the LCS, because it was so bad that everybody is ready just to gun him down. Like, he is in so much trouble now.
Oh, it's to the point, yeah. Like, I guess like the actual, not only him personally, but I guess the actual show was getting death threats.
Oh yeah.
This is ridiculous, people. Come on. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I am not the biggest. I like Tom King, but I am not the biggest Batman. I'm not the biggest fan of his take on Batman. Although I have read 50, and I do appreciate everything that he has done up until this point more, because it all fits together. But I'm not. It's not my personal take on Batman. But come on, just because someone writes a character that. Like, why in the world? Like, who in their right mind is threatening anybody over a fictional character? Like, this has always been my point, and I'll get on my soapbox with this type of stuff. Batman is not real. The story you're reading is not real. The time and money and everything we have invested in this is not real. Tom King's life, Tom King's family, Tom King's career, Tom King's well-being and safety, those are all real things. And there's no reason that everything real in Tom King's life or any other person at San Diego Comic-Con right now should have any bearing on a fictional world. Like, if we can't see past that, that's just, like, that's sad. Like, I don't know, like, that really bothers me. That, and I know there's a bunch of whack jobs out there, but if it's to the point where a con and a former CIA operative feel like that they have to have a bodyguard with him the entire show, even when he's just toy hunting. Because that was the funny thing. They took a picture of the bodyguard standing outside a vendor's booth this morning, looking thrilled that he had to go toy shopping with Tom King. And that's just ridiculous. Like, it shouldn't be this way.
Now, well, and you guys probably remember too, in the 80s, when they killed off Optimus Prime in the 1986 Transformers movie, that was sold across the country. Like, there was a kid who actually locked himself up into a bathroom for 2 weeks because of it. Because I mean, that was his hero. We're
Right.
talking kids now. We're not talking adults. We're talking about kids that's affected by that. There were adults as well that were affected by it, and there were death threats and letters sent to Hasbro and Marvel about what are you doing? Why did you do this? Why did you kill our beloved character? Um, Same vein, it's like, dude, it's a comic book, it's a cartoon, it's a toy line. It's not real. It's like it's cool. It gives us excitement, gives us kind of a break away from what we do, our daily lives and daily jobs. But at the end of the day, it's a toy, it's a comic, it's a show. Don't let it affect you as much, as an adult. As a kid, there's nothing you can do. As a kid, you're going to be affected. That's what's going to happen. You're going to tell your parents are going to be pissed off, and that's what's going to happen. But the catch is that there's nothing you can do. But as an adult, take responsibility, do what you need to do. Come on. I know everybody was disappointed. I was disappointed, and I returned the book for that reason because I was so irritated about it. But at the same time, I also understand too is that it's just a comic book. It's kind of the catch-22. Um, so yeah, yeah, that's kind of crazy. You don't see that every day, And I was just like, you shouldn't have to be that way. Like, dude, if I'm Tom King, I wouldn't even went to the con, you know, because you know what you're walking into. Now you have all these people there that hate you for what you did, for ruining Batman. He's ruined Batman since the first issue. So now you've got where you've made the ultimate comic the most hated comic right now in history for what you did. So I understand the hate, I understand the vengeance and all that stuff, people being mad, but come on, grow up, grow the hell up, you know.
Uh,
All right, so we did get some new people in. Danny Killinger's in. We got um, some other guys. We got Prulio, of course, in, and Andrew Greehart. Thank you guys for coming in. But Dylan asks a question to us. He says, "Are there any new comics you suggest in reading?" Well, I'm gonna go through all of us. So, Kyle, new comics that you think are good to read.
Uh, See, I'm a trade reader, so mine
Yep,
are.
that's
I'm
fine.
a little bit behind everybody else. Let's see. My big ones. I'm always going to say this one, Deadly Class. And you should definitely read it now because Sci-Fi is doing a TV show that will probably, and it's the Russo brothers, the guys behind Civil War, Infinity War, that are producing, helping write and directing. So that's going to be huge. So Deadly Class
yeah.
is one. Die 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 is another one, which we were just kind of talking about. That just came out last week. Robert Kirkman, Walking Dead creator, Invincible creator. That's another good one. Trying to think what else is out right now. Sorry, and I'm also indie. Like I don't read a whole lot of superhero stuff. So most of my recommendations are going to be odd. If you're looking for superhero stuff, Batman White Knight is a really good series. And let's do one from Marvel. Let's go. Actually, right now probably be a perfect time to jump on Amazing Spider-Man because it just started #1 with Nick Spencer and Ryan Reynolds. So that'd be a good one to jump on.
Definitely. What about you, BJ?
Domino, of course.
Yeah.
The new Avengers. I've only read the first issue, but I mean, looks seems pretty good so far. And something called the Mall from Scout Comics. I can go into detail a little bit later on that when we do our pulls for the week because I just got the issue #1. But Free Comic Book Day had a issue come out for that. Death of Glory is pretty good so far too. I mean, you can't beat Rick Remender and his writing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the big one so far right now, I mean, every week it changes, it seems like, for all of us. But the big one was Aphrodite V. I love that story, how they did that one. But the other one was X-23. I mean, just that book surprised the hell out of me, how good it was. I love the artwork that's in it. I love the new writer in it. We'll have to see how it goes. But sadly, I'm gonna have to give it to Bendis on Superman 1. The new Superman series has been really good. I mean, with Man of Steel was awesome miniseries, and now the main series has been really good. All right. So, with that being said, there's talks today. Of course, there's some new shows coming out. Birds of Prey, Batwoman, Titans. DC is killing it right now. Of course, we got Shazam coming out. They've been leaking pictures of it now. So I kind of want to talk about that for a second. So as comic collectors, we collect a lot of books and a lot of things. And if you watch how like movies come out, shows comes out, book values go up extremely. So if you go out there and look for like the first appearance of Kate Kane, the first appearance of Batwoman, they're jumping in price right now. You look at the first appearance of Birds of Prey, where it's all, you know, the Catwoman, you know, the Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and Black Canary, they were all together. And then Batwoman, of course, joins later. Those books are going up in price, just like Deadpool. Hell, I remember buying New Mutants 98 for $1 at a thrift store, you know, and a near mint. You know, that book is now $500, $600, so, you know, if it's graded. I say that for this reason. That's only for now. If you look at the value of Nick's number 3, which is the first appearance of X-23, when Logan came out, that book exploded. Now it's going back down again. The value of those books are going down. So what I want to talk about is long-term value in comic books. If you think you're going to get rich off of comic books, you're wrong. Unless you have like Action Comics 1, Batman 20, or Detective 27, like those key golden age books or silver age books, you're not going to get rich off of comics. You can sell a lot, you can buy a lot, you can enjoy a lot, but you're not going to be making tons and tons of money off of comic books. There are values, though, to comics. And why I say that is because it's your silver age, it's your bronze age, it's your golden age books that are valued. You know, you keep those ones for a long periods of time. They keep going up in value. They don't go down unless the grade, you know, unless it's damaged or something like that. Those books will keep going up in value. Modern books, anything from really 1988 and above, ain't worth jack, but the cover price it is. And if you watch the trends on a lot of those, they'll go up and then they'll go back down. And that's why I highly recommend using like Comics Price Guide, GPA, those kind of things, because those are going to give you a accurate snapshot in time of what it's actually valued at. Not how much did it sell for on eBay 2 days ago, you know, but a real good synopsis on time frame, how long it's been on the market, it's been around, how it's been selling. So just wanted to talk about that for a minute, because there's been a lot of people asking questions about grading lately for us, about grading books and values of books and things like that. There's a lot of them out there. What I would recommend, there's 2 I recommend only: CGC, CBCS. That's the only 2 I recommend. I work with PGX. I don't recommend PGX. Never. And the reason being is that they don't know how to grade comics at all. Really, they don't. You're going to get something they'll say it's a 9.8, but really it's an 8 or an 8.5 at best. So stay away from PGX. CGC, CBCS, you're going to get pretty good. CGC has got really strict about grading lately as well for books, so that's kind of a problem. A lot of people used to get books and they should have graded higher, but they're not now. They're taking every little thing now and marking them down for half a grade to a grade, which is not right in my book. So CBCS has been doing a lot better with their grading lately. As you guys saw, I got ASM 129. it came back as a 7.70. That book should have been an 8 or an 8.5 from CGC. I work for CGC, and I'm telling them it should be this, you know. But that's the problem is that every person, it's subjective. It's a really subjective grading. So if you're looking for objective grading, you're never going to get it. You're really never going to get that out of any grading because it's all about the people looking at the book. And I did get asked about the process for grading at CGC. So we all know there's two lanes when it comes down to CGC or CBCS. There's the slow train, the fast train. That fast train's still 2 months long. So long term could be 4 months to 5 months to get your book graded and done. Unless you are at a con and you have them do it there on the con. That is the best things to slice bread. Or if you're actually near the area and you do the same day service, they can actually do that. They can grade it, they can slab it, they can do all of it in one day. It's going to cost you a lot of these though to do that. So the way the process actually works within the actual store is that there's a receiver. The receiver gets the book. They catalog the book in. They put it against your name. They notify you we have received it. Okay. It gets put into the pool, and that pool is first come, first served. You know, as far as timing. So if you submitted your book today, but then there was a guy who submitted his book 2 months earlier, guess who's getting theirs first? The 2 month guy earlier. They're going in. Who came in first? So it'll go through the process. So once it gets to your turn, you'll get notified that, hey, it is now being graded. Okay. They use 3 graders. And there's a reason why it's subjective so badly. It's because each grader could have a different grade on it. And the actual best average out of the 3 will actually give you the grade. From that point, you're going to hear a term called grader's notes. Grader's notes are when the imperfections they have seen within the book. And that can vary from, hey, bends, tears, staple pulls, rust, you name it, you get it. So you'll get notified by CGC, hey, here you go. Grade, here's your grade of what the actual story is. I think 7, he thinks 8, the other guy thinks 7.5, so guess what? You're getting a 7.5 out of the book. And then here's all the issues on why it's a 7.5 versus a 10.0. Remember, we start everything at 10.0 Gem Mint and we go downward. So we go through 9.8, 9.6, 9.4, 9.2, 9, 8.5, 8, 7.5, 7, and further on down the road. There is a caveat to all of that, though, and that is the era of the book. A modern book versus a bronze/silver/golden age are looked at differently because of the age of that book. I mean, a golden age book could be 60 or 70 years old. It's going to have issues with it. There are things that we will let go as far as golden and silver age books that we cannot do on a modern book. And the reason is that modern book is not that old. So it should be tighter. There shouldn't be any spine splits. There shouldn't be any tears if it's been done since 88, you know. As long as somebody bagged and boarded the book when they bought it, it should be fine. Now, if you roll over it or something like that happens, hey, I don't know. But that is the catch-22, is that with the grading on that side, it is lenient a little more on the silver and on the golden age. Bronze age, it's in that in-between, you know. It gets looked at about almost the same as modern, but there's things to let go on the bronze age. So book's graded. You got it done. You know, yay, so you get notified. Here's your grade. Here's your notes. We still got to ship it back to you. That shipping process of after it's been graded usually takes about 3 to 4 days after. It's pretty fast as far as when it's done. You'll get notified it's on its way. Depending on how you set up the actual shipping on it, you could have said, hey, I want to have it signed for as far as services go. I always recommend if you are buying a CGC book that you sign for the book. And the reason being is don't go crying to the USPS if that book gets lost. Or if you get it showed up on your porch and you ain't there to pick it up and somebody's grabbed it. I've heard too many stories where people have had Stan Lee Signature Series CGC books stolen. Because guess what? Your neighbor might know that you're a comic collector. you know, and he might be seeing all these things come in. So be cognizant about these kind of things. Even though it was just ASM 129 and Batman or Detective 400, I still had mine signed for that reason because I wanted to make sure I had them in my hands. Either you sign for it or you go pick them up from the post office. Um, that's pretty much the process. It's the same process in CBCS as it is in CGC, but ironically, CBCS has been a lot faster. So if you're looking to get your books pretty fast, go through CBCS. CGC, it's been the long game. You know, they've been around a lot longer than everybody else. So everybody trusts CGC over a lot of companies. But when I look at the two companies, they're both equal in my eyes. All right, I've been yammering for a while. Somebody else talk.
Key Collector's pretty good too for like a phone app. They just started a subscription though for $20 a month or not for a year to get like find the cheap comics and the dollar bin that might actually go a little bit more because of the first appearance into a TV series, a movie, even probably coming back when with these new writers starting up on Spider-Man and Batman, whatnot, bringing these older characters and giving them new costumes and whatnot too. And yeah, I sent one book out for CBCS. Is that right?
Yeah.
Let's say right. And yeah, it took me like about 45 days because it's you got to think it's work days. So Sundays, Saturdays, they're not going to be working on it. So that you're gonna think an extra week or two longer than you expected.
Yeah, and that's a nice thing. I'm glad you brought up Key Collector. So Key Collector is definitely a good tool today, and it's updated like hourly almost. You know, as far as what's going on in the community. Um, there's a free version and there's a paid version. Just go do the paid version of it. You know, because if you don't, you can't unlock a lot of the features within it, like going through the subscriptions and seeing things. Um, Comics Price Guide has an app as well too. So if you're trying to find values on books, I think it's like $5 a month, or you just pay the yearly whatever for it, and you got all your values, and you can do a collection within there with values and prices. So like, I had CLZ, and I still do, but the problem with CLZ is that it doesn't have values. It just has the actual catalog of the thing. What's nice is though is that they have a scanner with their app, so you can just scan those books in that you get every week, and it's easy. A lot of apps don't have that. You know, see, Comics Price Guide doesn't have that yet. They're working on it because it'd be nice. You can just scan it and automatically see the value of it and add it to your collection. If they do that, then I won't need CLZ anymore. Um, but I will say that it's delayed by like 2 days, I think, between like CLZ will get it faster because it's already been scanned in as a UPC code than Comics Price Guide. Comics Price Guide, somebody's physically putting it into the system. So definitely highly recommend those apps. Another one, Comixology, is actually a good app too if you want to read books or see new releases. They actually have them on there as well. Previews has an app, but it sucks ass. There you can't find nothing on previews unless you want to read a novel or something like that. Um, I stick to the website for previews when I go look for stuff now, for them, or the comic list, .com. Those are always good ones. But with that being said, there's a lot of resources we have out there for comic collectors. Um, and remember, us three here are resources for you guys in the stream as well. We're the ones here to help support you guys, other than Syndi-Comics, try to help you out, get you more information. I went through a thing yesterday with a guy about Incredible Hulk. Okay, Incredible Hulk is not one of my favorite characters, but I love the Peter David version of Incredible Hulk. I loved how he wrote the stories, in the '90s and early 2000s. Definitely love the Immortal Hulk. That just blow it out the way. I mean, hey, Hulk, um, I had to wear. I mean, I read Immortal Hulk. I was like, dude, I gotta wear the shirt. Um, but yeah, it's a resource, and there's lots of them out there. And I'd highly recommend, guys, if you guys see something out there, let us know about it. We don't know everything. We're not the comic gurus. There's so much stuff happens every day in comics that there's no way to keep up on every little thing. You know, we try. We try to do the best we can, but there's a lot out there.
That's what the group's for. Help each other
Amen.
out.
Have a good night, Cream City.
And for Kyle too. He helps you out a lot.
What's that?
Finding books.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about grading and all that. I'm a trader. We don't grade trades.
I've actually graded trades before and hardcovers.
How does that
You'd be
slide?
It's
Right.
like they're like custom made slabs that we take those on. We used to take those on a case by case basis, and people were never happy when we did them because if I'm looking at okay, I got it for so first off when I grade a hardcover or trade, if it's got a dust cover, I got to deduct points for the dust cover. So if there's something wrong, like a bend in the dust cover, I got to deduct points for that. If there's a little bend in the corner, I got to deduct points for that.
Right.
Oh, the glue has started to undry and it's starting to come apart because they glued it versus stitching it. Oh, there's a couple points gone. So your actual book might look real nice. It ain't going to grade nice. I don't recommend it. The only ones I ever recommend grading is comics, magazines, artwork, or sketchbooks, those kind of things. That's the only thing I ever recommend grading. And only get it graded if you want to. That's the thing is like I have a lot of raw books that are worth a lot of money. It's just I don't see a reason to go get them graded. I really don't because they're personal. It's like a thing. It's more value to me for sentimental reasons than it is for value as a book. There's things I want to protect, of course, which is what's great about grading. And disclaimer, let's just put this out there. A slab book does not mean that book is protected till the end of time either. So things do happen. Those can, over time, a slab can actually come apart. The glue that's, used on the, sealing the book, that can come apart. That's why there's a thing called restocker, or reholder fee, for $15 they do, because sometimes they do. Or if you had the old versions, like the old blue Universal CGC versus today's standard, if you want to change it to a new label, it's just a new label. That's the only thing you're getting changed, but it's in a new case now. And because when we did that in the early 2000s and late 90s when it first started, we didn't know how to do a lot of these the right way. And I'm being honest. It's just like, because I had to get taught by an old grader who worked at Overstreet, who wrote the Overstreet guide. And when we were sealing and doing a lot of these things, it was a process and it sucked. And today is so much better. It's all factory. It's like, all right, you have the dude, chink, 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 done, kind of thing. Versus, all right, we're done. Let it dry. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there that yes, it's graded. Yes, it's sealed today. It doesn't mean in 20 years that book might not have issues. So just being honest.
True.
Or if you drop it or somebody runs over it or, the common things that usually happens. Or it gets broken by USPS in transit. I got that a lot.
I bring a book bag to work and a couple of trades, and I accidentally left a banana in my book bag over the weekend.
Ooh.
I cleaned the shit out of those books too. Use some some Lysol wipes on those things.
I bet they smell funky now.
Oh man, well it's so damn hot down here. I just left them in my book in my car because it gets like so hot and let them dry out and that.
Dang,
about an hour.
Hey, let's talk about that for a second. So we're always talking like about comics and comic news. What's the worst thing you've ever done to a comic, or a trade, or a hardcover?
Banana.
What you, Kyle?
Oh.
I think probably. There was one. I left it like out in my car, but I had it like whoever's riding my back seat. I forgot that it was back there, and they actually put it into the back window of my car. So like there was like like the little space between the back seat and the where the glass comes down. They put it back there, and I forgot about it. And it was like months later, and that thing was the actual it's a paper bag, and it had dried up so much it had actually like started to crack. It was all warped. Like you could tell where the shadow was because half of it was just completely faded. It was a mess. That's probably the worst thing I've ever done to a comic.
Well, I've got two bad stories. One as a grader, and then one as just a collector. Um, so I went to this estate sale. I want to say 20 years ago. They had all these old Avengers, X-Men and Silver Age stuff. They had a Golden Age Green Lantern comic, and I was all over it. Spent $5 on the book. I mean, we're talking big Golden Age books. Um, and I loved it. I was so happy to get it. I bought it in like a stack like this big. So when I left, I'm like, okay, great, whatever. Got into the car. I'd set my comics on top of the car. I typically will do that. I'll leave it in the bag, grab it, and then I'll take and put it inside the car. What I didn't realize is that I actually left a comic on top of the car, and it was the Green Lantern Golden Age book because I had it under the bottom. I was like, hey, keep it pressed, keep it clean, at the bottom. Took it out, I drove 35 miles on the way home, and so I get home and I'm like, where the hell did that Green Lantern go? And I'm like, where is that? I turned around, I start driving to go find it. Never found it ever, and I'm like, son of a bitch, and the sad part is that book now is worth 18 grand. It was a second appearance of Green Lantern in Golden Age. Um, and I was so pissed. Oh, I did that. So now I have a new way of doing things with comics. When I leave a store or an estate sale. Um, Worst thing I've ever done as a grader. So I was working on some Silver Age. It was an Avengers #4. First appearance of Captain America in the Silver Age. Um, Looking through it, everything, I was like, yeah, going through it, pages were fine, everything looked good on it. Yeah, flipped it back over. Didn't notice. So your hands get sweaty real fast. I didn't have gloves on, which is the first mistake for a grader, is not having gloves on for books like that. Turned the page, that cover was stuck to my hand. Pulled my hand, whoosh, bye-bye cover right off of it, ripped it right off the staples. Um, Destroyed that book, and I had to pay for that book too, because that was a very nice. It was about an 8.5 before I touched it. So we've all made mistakes as graders. That was my screw up of the century. Screwing that one up. It was an expensive screw up. I don't do that anymore. If I touch Silver Age or Golden Age, I'm wearing gloves now. And that was back in 1998. I did that, so 20 years ago. And I had just started grading too. I had just started. I was learning. I was going through the process and learning everything. And the dude just looks over at me. He's like, "Well, you got to pay for that, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, I'll pay for it." Yeah, that was 20 years ago. That wasn't. I mean, it wasn't expensive as today, of course, but yeah, I learned a lot about not messing with stuff like that without taking my time. All right. So I guess since he ain't going to show up, or he'll be casually late the last 10 seconds. So Kyle, what'd you get this week, man?
I didn't really pick up a whole lot. Our local half price books was this past weekend was doing their percentage off one item. It's like Monday and Tuesday it's 20%, Wednesday, Thursday it's 30, Friday, Saturday it's 40, and then Sunday it's 50% off any one item. So I picked up volume 1 of, and I posted these, so most of you guys probably saw them, but picked up volume 1 of The Sixth Gun, Columbine. This is a good Western horror comic. Picked that up, and then I picked up the hardcover of Scott Snyder and Sean Murphy's The Wake. Got these. This one was like $6. I think it was listed as 12. I got this at 50% off day, so it was only $6. This one was 10. I got 40% off, so it was only $6 too. So those are the two I picked up at half price books. Stuff I actually picked up this week. Fear Agent, Rick Remender. They're doing. This is the final printing ever of Fear Agent, or at least for the foreseeable future. So they're actually calling it the final edition. This is volume 2, and this is cool because it actually all these contain 2 volumes each. So this is actually volumes 3 and 4, but volume 2 of this one. So if you have any interest in Rick Remender's sci-fi series Fear Agent, it's about ready to be out of print completely. Pick up these final editions. And then the last thing I picked up was all because of our good friend BJ, and this I'm actually going to send in to have graded just because I want to see how the casing would be. But I picked up this behemoth. It's only and so give you guys the reference. So this is the size of a normal trade. So it's only about 1.5 inches bigger on each side than a normal trade. But so I picked up Low, the hardcover edition. This thing weighs about 20 pounds. I'm not kidding. So this is the Low, oversized deluxe edition that is $25. BJ posted the link, so picked it up and have all the floppy ones. So I won't be reading this one. This one's just to have as far as a collector's item, but it's big.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to get graded though, because I just want to see the slab that they put.
we would actually send it back to you. All right, BJ.
Me? All right. The Free Spotlight has a few issues. Fantastic Four, West Coast Avengers, a couple other previews of the upcoming stories. Infinity Wars #1, and there's something I saw here. I was like, what the hell? Oh, as Guardians of the Galaxy. That looks all right. And then Star Wars 51. X-Men Gold 32. I haven't read this one yet, but I'm pretty excited after I read 31. Infinity Countdown #5. I got this for half off at the store. He's doing this one and like 2 other ones. Cosmic Ghost Rider #1. He was doing this one, Iron Man #1 and Thor #1. Optimus Prime #21 is supposed to go with the Unicron series or saga. X-Men Red #6. And my pick of the week, The Mall #1. Yay! Scout Comics. It's based in the 80s. 3 kids find out they inherited 3 different stores in the mall because their so-called father was in the mafia, and each character was kind of based on what they have. So one kid has like an organ store, like organ, piano kind of thing. One person has a pet shop and another person has a shoe store. But the funny thing is, it's in a mall in Fort Myers, Florida. When I turned 21, I moved down to Florida to stay with my grandparents for the summertime and worked at this mall that they're talking about in here. So I was like, oh man, it's pretty cool. So it's Scout Comics, same company that makes Stabby Bunny, the mod #1. It's got that little Breakfast Club thing going on in the front cover. They've got a variant edition that looks like a Goodfellas poster there too.
Yes.
Got the Prime Day deal, the $9 Starscream.
Yep.
And then I didn't get this. Actually, I got it like about 8 years ago. I just found this in one of my. Oh shit!
There he goes.
Got him. Star Wars comics. My old roommate gave me this about 8 years ago, and I realized I had this thing, and it's pretty cool. Let me see if I can get some artwork out of here. I mean, it's got like some original copies of original pages from the Star Wars comics.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then got a Mike Mignola art of Star Wars.
Oh yeah, Dark Horse days.
Looks like Hellboy.
Everything looks like Hellboy when Nola does it.
It really does.
I mean, and then you got
like, and clearly it's a Raider, but it looks like Hellboy.
yeah. I mean, look at that thing. That's all the 2 pages and whatnot. So yeah, I went back and started looking at this again. It's pretty cute.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's it for the week.
You don't see books like that often anymore. I mean, remember how the Marvel and DC used to do all those? I mean, I've got a couple of those, like, you know, Marvel illustrated guys and DC illustrated guys they used to do. But when Wizard kind of went under, as far as a lot of those books, you don't see it anymore now.
Nope. I mean, unless it's a specific artist, they'll do the art books like that. But it's not based on a whole series.
Mm-hmm. All right, I got a ton of books. That's pretty status quo.
It is.
But I did put a video out this morning that showed them all too. So I was too excited. I couldn't wait for today. Sorry. But talking about Amazon Prime deals, I got the same thing. You know, the Starscream. I got it in yesterday, and then I picked up the Defenders 4-pack. That was a good deal. And then
I almost got for Daredevil.
Well, and the funny part, the only reason why I got this thing was for her and for him. That's the only reason why I got it. Because I didn't have a Luke Cage, I didn't have a Jewel. Because there's a Jessica Jones, but it's MCU. I don't want the MCU one.
Right.
Yeah.
I want the comic one. All right, comics. All right, so we got Claws of the Killer, #3.
Nice.
The variant cover, and this is probably one of the coolest covers I've seen this year so far. I like how they did that, like that subdued shadowed effect in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really cool how they did that.
I agree.
Got Weapon H, #3. X-Men 32. I've not read it yet either, BJ. I've read 31. I was so excited to see Rachel come back as a Hound. Of course, X-Men Red 6. Let's see here. Cable 159, last issue of Cable. So, kind of sad to see the series end. Really am. Let's see. Avengers #5. Immortal Hulk #3. And it's funny, it's like Bruce is just looking at the hole through his chest. Thor number 3, Return of Hela in Thor comics. And there's actually 2 new appearances, first appearances in this book. I don't know who they are. I've not read it yet this week. Tony Stark number 2. And let's see. Old Man Hawkeye. Somebody was asking us about this the other day too, if we recommended it, and I said, hell yes. Read this series. This is very on par with Old Man Logan, the original series that came out. Death of the Inhumans. I slacked and forgot to pick it up last week, but it's Johnny Cate, so I have to pick it up, you know. Let's see. Infinity Countdown, number 5. The variant for number 5 with the Ultron Hank Pym cover.
Yeah.
Let's see. Spider-Gwen 34. Final issue of Spider-Gwen. I'm actually happy some of these are ending. I can put my pile list down a little bit.
Yeah.
Shattered Grid number 29. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The variant for them. My book of the week. As soon as I saw this, I picked it up. This is the first thing I read this week, Aphrodite V. Because I loved Aphrodite IX, you know, when it came out. You know, so I was so excited. Justice League number 4. And let's see, DC New Challengers number 3. All right. And I got some other stuff that I ordered finally show up. And I'm a little irritated. So I did get volume 3 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I got this on Amazon Prime Day. It was like $5.
Nice.
So I can actually go read the series. I got all the books. This came in, Youngblood Volume 2. Finally got it. This will definitely catch me up through issue 11, and I've got 12 and 13 on back order right now, so I'm waiting on those to show up. Let's see. So my LCS screwed up badly because I got Hellboy. This one is Volume 2.
Yep.
And I got Volume 3.
Yep.
They screwed up and didn't order Volume 1 correctly. So they had to go reorder it day before yesterday. Or yesterday. So now I got to wait for it to come in. But they have all the other ones on order. You know, the short stories 1 and 2, and then you got the rest of the omnibus.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, Kyle, do you read the short stories in tangent with these, or do you read them after? I forget.
So the basically how I read it, Volume 1, and then I read Short Stories Volume 1, and then Volume 2, and then it should be Volume 3, then Short Stories Volume 2, and then Volume 4.
Okay.
That's the order that's also the order that they came out. So it went 1, Short Stories 1, 2, 3, Short Stories 2, 4.
Okay. Makes sense. And I was just wondering, because like I remember reading some of those stories in different times, you know, like from the short stories in comparison. Because like when I had the original graphic novels, you know, I remember some of them came out within those graphic novels too, the same original series.
Yep. Well, and that's the weird thing, because like if you look at it, like, because I mean obviously this is chronological order now, so like a lot of like I forget which one it is, but like if you buy the normal trades, Volume 7 of the normal trades is in Volume 1, but it's like the second graphic novel. So it's like, I mean, these things are like way out of order. And I think who was it? It might be Comic Book Resources. There was someone, if you just type in Hellboy Omnibus reading order, it shows you a good kind of little flow chart of what you should read when. And the cool thing is it also throws in all the BRPD and like Lobster Johnson, Abe Sapien, anything in the Hellboy universe. It throws all those in there too.
Okay. I hope the guy we do get, BBPR and Abe Sapien omnibuses. I hope they do all that. Like, and it's not a lot of issues either on those. They could fit BBPRD all in one of these easily.
Yep.
Same way with the Abe Sapien and the other one. They could just put that in one, and you're good to go.
Yep.
But I do got 3 other special things. So
one of ASM 300.
Yeah, that's one of them.
God, no, man.
Iron Fist number 14, first appearance of Sabretooth.
Nice.
And since I've already blown it, ASM 300. So now I have Slab 298, first Todd McFarlane on Spider-Man, first Venom. So I'm looking for 299 Slab to finish up the run. That's the first cameo of Venom. So definitely want to get that one. And then Wolverine number 1, signed 9.6 by Chris Claremont. Yellow label. This is a pain in the ass to get now. It really is. At a con, it's a pain. If you can get that CGC or CBCS guy with you to go verify it, as soon as you do it and give it to them, it becomes a pain. But yeah, I got the Iron Fist came from Rick Froge, and then the other 2 came from Mike Pizzini. So if you guys see on Syndi-Comics, I'll put the stream. He does his every Wednesday, about 4:30 or 5 o'clock East Coast time. Or no, that would be 8 o'clock his time, 5 o'clock my time. I'm all tired. But yeah, I got those from him. But yeah, it took forever and ever to get some of these in. But it was well worth it. Well worth the wait. And I just got my X-Men 4 submitted to CGC. So waiting to see what that one comes back as. I'm super excited for that. If it comes back what I think it is, it won't be my most valuable, but it'll probably be in the top 5. So yeah. And then I got a bunch of toys. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. I got a feeling next week short stories will show up, and then probably volume 1, and then everything. I'm like, oh god. So I told him though, I said I'm taking so like next week I'm taking next week off. I said I got too much going on with SDCC right now. I'll see you in 2 weeks, and that I know it'll be bad in 2 weeks when I show up on that Wednesday. But yeah, that's all I got for this week. Did you have any fun today on your softball game, DJ?
I barely heard you. My phone's messing up. It keeps on going in and out here. It keeps on signing me out. What was that again?
Did you have fun playing softball?
It was just practice today. So got 2 more weeks till the regular season starts. But it's always fun.
Especially if beer's involved.
No, I don't drink. I haven't drank in about 5 years.
Well, good on you, man.
Yeah. I got in trouble with the law about 5 years ago, so I had to hang up the beer drinking days on me.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it.
Yeah. And plus, I have more money to go to Comic Cons and to buy more comics.
Yep.
Very true. That is the catch. It's like there's so many cons going on right now that it's fun. Like I think you've got one this weekend, don't you, Kyle?
It's a real small. It's like I think Josh, Billy, and maybe Cincy are gonna go up. It's Sunday. It's just Sunday only. It's like in a Holiday Inns, like Hall. So this is a real small little thing. But yeah, I think well, I know Toy Bills, myself, and Josh are going to go up since he's a maybe. So
Yeah, but those are the best ones to go to for sales and comic deals. It isn't the big ones; it's the small ones. Like I had one when I was in Georgia. They had it at a Hilton, and literally, it was probably about the size of my house. Here. It was like walk through, go in, take a circle, come back, and keep going around in a circle trying to figure out what you want. And it's like you're done in an hour and a half. But I got some of the best deals probably in 5 years there. All right. So, with that being said, you guys got anything else for the night?
No, I don't think so.
Kyle?
No, I don't think so. Thanks to everybody that came out. As always, it was a fun.
Yeah, man.
As always, it was a pleasure.
Definitely. And BJ?
I just hope Google Hangouts works and gets this damn thing fixed, so keeps on signing me off every 5 minutes.
I'm with you, man. I wish my video would work. Like right now, it's been the most consistent it's been in probably 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
I think whatever they did with Hangouts is causing issues, because I've had on this Josh's stream and Foxy's stream I was on, they were doing the same thing. It was having issues coming in and out. So I don't know what it is. And I did it both from a computer as well as a phone, and it's the same thing. So who knows? Freaking Google. But I do want to say thank you guys, everybody that came out. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, BJ, for another fun time this week. So with that being said, you guys have a good night. Get some rest. And hey, we actually are getting done before we usually even get started.
Yep.
So,
liking it.
Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate it. You guys take it easy and have a good one now. And go check out Kyle's channel. Go check out BJ's Instagram. And then go check out my channel. So take it easy and have a good one, everybody.
Everybody.
All right.
Start a channel.
Yeah, you need a channel, BJ.
All right. One day.
We'll never see it.
No, we will. One day.
All right. Have a good night, everybody out in YouTube land.
See you guys.
Good.